Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review after, well, a very, very successful weekend. I think it's fair to say in the Sela Cup. And Billy, just want to say, well done on your commentary. Absolutely fantastic stuff, mate. And congratulations, because it was. We've had some brilliant comments back about the commentary, so absolutely superb, mate. So I'd just like to say that out loud to everybody. Yeah, Billy will be back, of course, on Saturday evening with Newcastle versus Villa. I will be at the game. Alex is here. He is in a very bad mood, it's fair to say. He bought a green jacket at the weekend, and of course it turns see-through. But he's here. He's here, and he's with us. He's changed his top. And have you calmed down now, Alex? Can we get some decent conversation with you tonight?
Well, fingers crossed. It was a good weekend to talk about. So
yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll start off, of course, on the Saturday, which we put out a very, very strong team on Saturday, of course, with the usual defense. However, obviously missing Fabian Schär because he's injured, and hopefully that was just to rest him and get him ready for Saturday rather than risk him getting any further injury. But Alex, we commented at the time, Fiorentina were a very good passing side, very good in possession as well. But we did see some good stuff from Newcastle on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a very interesting lineup to see Alex Murphy in the starting 11. I think it was a very successful experiment with him. I thought he was excellent. Fiorentina are a good side. I saw a lot of journalists and people on Twitter suggesting that, well, a lot of people suggesting that Fiorentina, just pieing off the fact that they're good. Fiorentina and Villarreal are excellent sides. Villarreal obviously through to the semi-final of a Champions League within the last 24 months. Very, very good side. And Fiorentina all the way through to European final. So nonsense from a lot of people disregarding the quality of those teams. We did phenomenal across the whole weekend. Fiorentina, not a bad side at all. I understand they didn't have Amrabat in midfield, but they still started a lot of big hitters. And Fiorentina were very good on the Sunday as well, to be fair. So considering we were sort of rotated, I thought we played extremely well. I think the only person really, I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on this. The only player I was disappointed with was Matt Targett on the Saturday, but everybody else did either okay or very well.
Yeah, well, we'll come on to the left-hand side position a bit later because I think, after the weekend and certainly after pre-season, I think it's a worry. I honestly do. I mean, Billy, I don't know what you thought of, where we were in the ground, and obviously we were paying close attention to Matt Targett just so we could, feedback today on how we thought he did. And he wasn't particularly brilliant. I don't know how it came across in commentary, but what were your thoughts?
He just seems weak. He's got no strength in him anymore. Since that injury at the beginning of last season, every time I've seen him virtually, he's just appeared feeble, weak.
Yeah.
Gets out of position, can't get back into it. It's a worry, especially with the injuries we've got, maybe possibly to Schär, possibly to Lascelles as well yesterday, that the defence is kind of short-handed at the moment. I mean, Targett Saturday, he was really poor in defence, he was. Lots of covering for him. I thought Botman had an excellent game, doing a lot of covering for him. But yeah, it's very worrying, the left-back position, I've got to say.
I mean, and look, there was some good performances on Saturday. I thought Tonali did well. I thought he looked really up for it. Tonali. There was some good performances. Miggy again looked really good. Anthony Gordon played okay. I think he was outdone a bit over the weekend though by Harvey Barnes, but we'll come on to him. But again, some very good performances. And I thought young Alex Murphy playing alongside Botman. I mean, Alex, we spoke about it during the game, but I mean, Billy, did you notice how good he was at centre back? He didn't seem out of place at all.
It's better than good. I thought it was phenomenal. I really did. I thought he was calm assured, made the breaks from defence as well at times, Rodu-esque, Hansen-esque, if you like. His passing was crisp. He was quick. He was strong. He was positionally good. Yeah, I think we've got a special one on our hands there. He looks an excellent player. Didn't look out of place at all.
not at all.
To be fair, he was very highly rated when he came over. There, a lot of people who knew Irish football were massively complimentary of him. So
there was a lot of good things said about him when we signed him, of course. But just to let you know, guys, tomorrow night is our Premier League prediction night. So we will be giving you our predictions for the Premier League tomorrow night. And I will write them down this time and keep a hold of them. We're going to predict, obviously, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Champions League. So those are the competitions that we're going to focus on in our predictions. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, guys. Tune in and let us know yours as well. Who do you think will win the league, etc.? Well, we're going to do bottom of the table first, work our way up to the eventual who we think will be champions of the Premier League this season.
Why is Jan counting every minute?
I don't know. I think he's trying to...
Is he playing bingo?
He's trying to be...
He's being funny, I think. I think he's waiting for an M word to come out.
Yeah, well, sorry, it's not going to happen tonight. Kai says, Harvey Barnes has the edge for me, but it's a great position to be in to have a nice selection headache for once. It is, because if we move to the Sunday... Harvey Barnes was superb yesterday, Alex, and seeing him in the flesh, in person, every time he was getting the ball, he wanted to run at defenders. He causes all sorts of problems, and of course, he can finish. And the two finishes were quality. He could have actually had more yesterday, but it was so good to see him just get the ball and run at people, and it caused all sorts of problems for Villarreal.
Yeah, I think one of the things I was most impressed with, he came to us with a bit of a reputation for not being as good in one-on-ones and beating his man. And it was more about breakaways, pace, 1-2s. I thought he was quite good in all of his one-on-ones, actually. I thought he did well to beat his man each and every time, physically strong, always, every single step was... just reaching. He just put so much effort into every single stride and physical battle. So all of this analysis that a lot of people have done on Barnes, I feel like he might be at a point, he might be progressing even more. I think we might be able to see a version of Harvey Barnes in which he can win more one-on-ones and start to evolve his game even further. Because how he played on Sunday was quite different to a lot of what the analysis has been, to be fair, with the exception of obviously the nice runs, the cutting in. That was trademark Harvey Barnes. I think it will be lovely. I think Callum Wilson was excellent. However, I think Isak's intricate little 1-2s, he's quite good at that. He's very good at playing with teammates. Isak was quite good with Maxi, and I think he'll be even better with Barnes with the 1-2s. So it's very exciting.
It's a huge dilemma, which obviously we'll come on to tonight and obviously during the week in the build-up to the game. What a dilemma Eddie Howe faces. Me and Alex were talking after the game last night, coming out the ground thinking, who does he pick for his starting 11? And how do we predict it on our preview show? It's just...
I'll tell you what, I was quite critical. If you remember, I was a little bit critical of Joe Linton for that match because I thought he was doing a little bit of schoolboy error in terms of he was following the ball a little bit too much. Like, I understand that we go for the ball when we press, but sometimes Joe Linton just follows the ball around in a circle and then he's out of position. And as soon as I criticised him, 5 minutes later, he goes on that run and scores that goal. It's absolutely magical. Yeah. So, just crazy.
He'd be all right, Joe Linton. I just think he's short of a bit of match practice, but I still think he's going to be crucial for us. Julie says Matt Targett did some crucial defending on Saturday.
He was covering his own arse because he wasn't in the right place. That long ball over the top was constantly to target.
To be fair, we did make a point of watching Matt Targett because we're very interested in the left back position this season, and the times that he was caught out were, it probably wasn't caught on camera because the camera wouldn't be focusing on Matt Targett all the time.
That's true,
and that's why. But if you were at the game and you were paying particular attention to Matt Targett's positioning, he was all over the shop. But again, look, we know what Matt Targett can do. We know what Dan Burn can do, but left back is a problem for me, and we'll speak about that soon. Matty says, I'm fully hoping Billy will look like Santa come Christmas with his only shaving when we lose rule. Are you doing that again this year, Billy?
It depends how we start the season, I guess. Win Saturday, and I think we'll carry on like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have an invincible season,
We've
and it'll be
got Man City
Dumbledore.
away the week afterwards.
That's a good point, Alex. If we win all season, you'll look like Dumbledore by the end of the season. That'll be interesting. People will be coming up for your autograph too, saying, "Hey, that's that guy from Harry Potter." I like coffee says, "I wonder how our left backs will cope with Moussa Diaby when we play Villa." Well, my point is Livramento will play there, but that's just my opinion. Paul, will you be rapping again tonight? Great tune last time. Absolutely not. I had no idea that it happened on Friday night. I didn't realize that I went into a rap. Whatever happened on this show on Friday night, there was bugs galore. And that's why we cancelled it, because it was just outrageously bad. And I didn't realize that when my camera went off, I was rapping. But Susan did a little comical rap for the group. Ab says, unfortunately, Target is not at the level we need. Toon Gamer says, if Cher misses Saturday, would you put Lascelles or Young Murphy, as he played class at right centre-back on Saturday? It would be Lascelles. Let's be honest. I think, although Murphy's done himself no harm at all, especially playing alongside Botman, I think it was always going to be Botman and Cher to play Saturday, and Lascelles and Dummett on Sunday. I think that was always the plan. And obviously, when Cher wasn't fit, he brought Young Murphy in to play alongside Botman. But I tell you what it is, though, Billy, it's tremendous experience for Young Murphy, what he's had during this pre-season, because we've seen him play a couple of times at centre-back and a couple of times at left-back, and he's done absolutely brilliantly.
I'd be picking Murphy ahead of Lascelles every day of the week, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I would, but I'm just going with what Eddie would probably do.
I'm not certain Lascelles is going to be fit. He took a knock yesterday. Unless he was making an excuse for that awful victory.
Well, funny you should say that, Billy, because that's exactly what we said. When he made that mistake, he was running fine, and then suddenly he makes the mistake, and then
hamstring. No,
my hamstring's a little tight. Yeah, it was a bit strange.
I was furious when that happened.
Ian says, evening, lads. I said a quick hello to Paul in Newcastle College Park on Saturday after the match. Yes, you did, Ian. Thanks for... I've actually had loads of comments saying, "Oh, I saw you and Alex yesterday. Come and say hello. We don't bite. Come and introduce yourself so we can put a face to a name, and we can say hello." So many people said they saw us in the ground, but there was a couple came over, and I particularly like to give a shout out to James and Grace. James and Grace came down and saw me in the stand yesterday with the dad, and asked for a couple of autographs, which I was only too happy to do for them. And the big fans of the channel. So James and Grace, thank you for coming down and saying hello yesterday. And I hope you had a fabulous day out with your dad. And it's certainly a great performance from the lads. So a big shout out to James and Grace. And thank you for watching the Toon review moving forward. Everyone's seen the Tonali and Ginola clip. I think, if you haven't seen that, please try and see it, because it is hilarious. David Ginola is trying to teach Tonali some Geordie phrases, and it is hilarious. Hello, TTR family. Actually managed to get on for a live rather than having to watch it hours after. I'm buzzing. Thank you very much. Guys, just a reminder, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please give it the thumbs up so we stay up there in the search results on YouTube, of course. And if you're new to the channel, please help us towards 23,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button, free to do so. And, of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or upload any future videos. And, of course, you can donate to the channel tonight if you do so wish by hitting the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. That'll take you through to a payment method, and you'll also get your comment read straight out. So thank you in advance for that. Lewis says, I really can't help but feel Tonali may take some time getting settled. I hope this isn't the case, but it does worry me. Look, I wasn't worried about Tonali on Saturday. I was worried about Sean Longstaff yesterday. If I'm openly honest, I thought he was terrible. Now, he has been short of match practice. Let's not, jump on him too much. I thought he was just not good. But, of course, he didn't play across in the States. I'm not sure whether he's had a bit of an injury or what's going on with Sean, but he looked off the pace, Alex, yesterday.
He's not been good at preseason at all. I understand he obviously took a knock, but he's been very poor in any preseason game I've seen him, which is a shame because I thought he was excellent last season. Obviously, he was a little bit lacking in the the final third. Technically, when he got those goals against Southampton, we thought maybe it was clicking for him. The passing sequences had worked, and it just never quite carried on. We understand he's missing that part of his game. However, the rest of it was okay. But in pre-season, the rest of it's not been. Well, I don't know what it is, but it's not there. He's struggling with positioning, tackles, awareness. He's getting robbed. His passings, I think he'll be fine. I think he just needs a run of games. However, with this competition, he might not get the run of games he's potentially wanting.
No,
exactly. Because Miley's breathing down his neck as well. If he picks up a little knock here and there, Miley all of a sudden gets 3, 4, 5, 6 appearances. He starts getting trusted. Longstaff could be in trouble for a starting position here if Tonali obviously comes in and starts, and then Miley does very well in his appearances. Longstaff's got to be careful here. He needs to switch back on quickly because he's not been particularly good in pre-season so far.
Ian McKenna, thank you for your £2 super chat. This is nice, easy question. Starting 11 versus Villa. We'll do that later on in the week. We'll do our starting 11s in the actual match preview show. And Trolls, thank you for your 100 Norwegian krona. That is very kind. And thank you for your continued donations, matey. Really, really kind. There's no comment there, but thank you very much, bud. Did anyone see the picture of Joe Linton's dad on Twitter? He looks exactly like J7 will look in about 30 years. I haven't seen that one. David says, I thought Stato was going to appear on here with blonde hair and beard after winning the Sela Cup. No, he will when we actually...
trophy.
Yes, major trophy. Absolutely. I mean, Billy, what was your thoughts about Lewis Miley on Saturday? Because I thought he looked excellent again. Very, very calm on the ball. Did what he needed to do. Couple of mistakes, but you'd expect that from somebody who's 17-year-old. But playing alongside Tonali, and I thought he was great again.
I thought he played with a great deal of common sense. To be honest, common sense way ahead of a 17-year-old. I thought he was excellent. Like you say, a couple of mistakes and in dodgy areas of the pitch if you want to be critical. But apart from those two little mistakes he made, I thought he was outstanding. Yeah, whatever he was.
Yeah. He's so exciting for the future to watch him because, like you say, Billy, he seems to have a very, very mature head on his shoulders for someone so young when he's on the pitch, because when he gets the ball in certain positions near his own 18-yard box, he never panics. He doesn't just belt the ball away. He's aware of what's around him. He's aware of what he needs to do with the football and does it very well. And I think, he has really pushed himself up into that first team squad for this coming season. I've got no doubt about it. Gary Wishart, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, evening all. Apparently Tino has passed his medical. So do you think Eddie will start him on Saturday, right back or left back? Well, I've said publicly, I think he'll start left back. I think left back, Diaby will murder the two left backs that we have got. Just Sunday.
We've said that, but there wasn't really a right winger who, got the better of Dan Burn last season, was there?
Yeah, but Dan Burn yesterday.
I agree, but to be fair to him, he didn't get really battered by any right wingers last year. Although I agree with you in that we can improve, I've got to be consistent with my opinions and say he did fine last year.
I think the key is to stop the ball getting to Diaby. If you can stop the channels into Diaby, I think we're laughing.
Yeah,
Joe Linton's going to be snapping people.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to be a busy man on Saturday. Chippers, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. He says, I thought Wilson had a good game. Just a bit worried he was through so many times and decided to square them or cut them back in a few times instead of scoring. It's a good point, Chippers. And Alex, I remember making that point to you in the second half yesterday. That's where I think Isak gets the jump on Callum Wilson is for the pace, because when Isak's played through like that, he's in on goal. But Callum's just lost that little bit of pace that he has to check back. I mean, look, he checked back a couple of times yesterday. We scored goals, so it wasn't exactly a bad thing. But Callum Wilson a couple of years ago would have been through on goal.
Yeah, it's a shame that we can't put Callum Wilson's sort of tactical knowledge in Isak's head, because the runs and the timing that Wilson gets on that last man is outrageous. And if he had a little bit more pace, honestly, he would be a 20-plus goal striker consistently, because the amount he gets in behind, he's just so clever. But he recognises that the centre half's there and he has to chop and cut back. it's just it is what it is. I think we are blessed to have a striker as competent as Callum Wilson. If he's going to be a backup, I think he's one of the best backups in the league. I don't think we could ask for more. He's putting up Ivan Toney numbers consistently, and he's not our main man. I think he'll be fine. He'll contribute a lot next year. The pressure's not going to be on him to try and carry us. Hopefully, Isak stays fit for most of the season. We could just rotate them whenever we need to. And then Gordon potentially slot in as a centre forward as well.
I actually think Wilson hasn't got enough minutes in his legs as yet, because it's not 2 years we're looking back. We're going back 3 games when he was clean through against Brighton, managed to score one away from the halfway line. Just lacks a yard of pace at the minute. I think more minutes in his legs, and if he gains that, you don't lose that much pace in 3 months.
Good point. Gordon right, Barnes left. No, I don't. I think Miggy's a shoe-in for right, and rightly so. Miggy's done really, really well in pre-season, and he looks really sharp. So I can't
can I
see.
just reverse back to Wilson for 1 second before we
of course.
disappear on Wilson? I feel like the last 2 or 3 months, well, maybe 2 months, I feel like there might be more life left in Wilson than we originally thought. Because I think he's starting to show that he's got more in his locker than just his pace. He is recognizing that he's losing his pace. I think he had a bit of trouble with it towards the start of the year, because the first bit of that season, he was a monster and his pace was okay. And then January, February, March, it had all disappeared. There were so many problems. And now he's adapted his game somewhat. And this gives me confidence that we might be able to keep him beyond his current contract. Because if he can stay and be a clever striker, we don't need him to be pacey. And he looked very clever yesterday, to be fair.
Yeah. Ian says, credit to NFC and Sela. I thoroughly enjoyed the Sela Cup. Digital tickets, no problem. Shame about the card payment systems not working on Saturday. Yeah, that was a bit annoying that we walked all the way up to the turnstiles to be told that it was cash only. And then we go back and have to queue for about 40 minutes to get to a cash machine just outside the ground. And then we get into the ground and I go and get me and Phoebe a drink. And then I'm asked if I want to pay cash or card. Bizarre. However, what I will say is the digital system for the tickets worked absolutely flawlessly. All you do, open your wallet up, tickets there, you just scan it, and the scan is really quick. It's not like you have to, there's no delay on the scanner, and you're in. Really, really easy to do. And to be honest, I didn't see many problems with that. I think the problem that I think a lot of people had at the weekend was the fact that certainly on Saturday, you couldn't leave the ground once you were in. Now, that was very frustrating to people who went in for the first game and were expected to stay in the ground for 8 hours unless they came out after the Newcastle game. We were talking yesterday thinking it might have been better to put the women's game on in between the 2 men's games, which probably would have given the ladies a bigger crowd. And let's face it, Newcastle fans, it didn't matter what time we kicked off. We would have been there anyway. So, whether it was 6 o'clock or 3:30 for Newcastle, I didn't think it mattered. It would have been better, I think, for the ladies to be on at 3:30 to get a few people, more bums on seats watching them. It was a little disappointing that they had such a low crowd by the end of it. But then again, some people have been in that ground all day and wanted to come out. Now, a couple of people that didn't have cash on them, they were given wristbands to say that they'd been in the ground and were given wristbands to go out and get cash. So I found it a bit strange that maybe you weren't given a wristband when you went into the ground to say that you'd scanned yourself in. There could have been a couple of problems with that. I get it, but theme parks and things like that do it. So you've been in already, But then again, they could have given it to somebody else and stuff. But at least only one person would have come back in the ground again. So I think to do that probably would have been the answer. Especially with the card payments not working, nobody, you don't. I know I don't take a lot of cash into the ground because I just use my card. So yeah, look, a few teething problems, but I think the whole weekend went really well, apart from the club shop, Alex, which you may as well talk about.
Well, it's not the club's fault, but again, they are coordinating with Castor, and it's. So just ran out of the new third shirt in my size. And I went in on Saturday morning. You run out of stock in certain sizes for the kit you've just released. Day one of the cup, it's a weekend thing. You can't be running out of that Saturday morning. Like, I would have understood if I'd have gone in Sunday afternoon, fine, that's on me. But immediately on Saturday, why have you not got stock in? And I asked one of the managers, and they were like, oh, we've not had our delivery in yet. Oh, what, today's delivery? They went, no, just the delivery.
The delivery.
What do you mean you've not had the delivery yet? It's Saturday morning of the Sela Cup. This has been planned. I just feel like I don't want to be rude to Castor as a business, but surely there's got to be a breach of contract at this point. It's just not good enough. It's so bad.
And the fact that people were having to queue up on Saturday for the club shop for a long time.
I feel sorry for the staff in the club shop
Yeah.
because it's not their fault. They're trying very hard. They're very busy. And it must be horrible for them because they probably get a lot of the same questions and they can't do a lot about it, really.
No, they can't. It is a shame. Steve Martin, thank you very much for your 199 super chat. No comment there, but thank you for your support, my friend. Robert says a quality left back is going to be instrumental in how our season plays out. The problem being quality left back, right back with pace and feet command huge fees.
Huge feet.
They do.
What?
But then again, you know, it looks like Livramento deal's done. I mean, the club haven't announced it yet, but that will probably come tomorrow. You know, I did say on my instant reaction video that it was a bank holiday today. So I apologize to everybody that thought they were getting a day off from work. It is indeed a bank holiday in Scotland.
No, it's the Scottish bank holiday, yeah.
Yeah, okay, the new, but not in good old English. So I do apologize for that, but I blame Susan for that. Because she told me it was bank holiday. Agent Tech Screams says, I think I have a we should sell target and the club captain as he be
that
free
gave me a
season.
brain aneurysm reading that sentence.
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult there. Barth says he loves he's buzzing for Barnes as he loves the atmosphere. Mark says Miley was every bit as composed on the ball as Bruno always is. Bruno.
Here we go.
People
Paul's very worried about this one.
Well, I'm not, because I know Bruno's, you know, he's an absolute quality footballer and he will come good, but I just think he hasn't been great in pre-season. And I've seen a few stupid comments actually. Gareth Bascom, thank you for being a member for 7 months, buddy. He says, "Hi, Paul and Alex and Billy. Has Jack told you what his plans on doing afternoon school? I'll be joining Premier League fantasy football this week." No, he hasn't. I don't really understand that message, but never mind. Yeah, I saw some ridiculous things on social media saying he looks a bit like he's had a few too many pies over the summer and he's still not 100% fit. Bruno looks exactly like he did last season, right? There's no way he's overweight. I mean, that whoever said that, do you want to borrow these? Because I think you need them, right? However, I don't think he's been at it in pre-season. He's still very rusty. Now, look, he's had a big summer, Bruno. He's got married and everything. He's had big changes in his life with young Matteo coming along, etc. Right? I know for a fact, before anyone jumps on me, that Bruno is going to be fantastic. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, he is what he is with Bruno. But pre-season, and even you admitted this yesterday, Alex, he hasn't looked too sharp. Where
I agree. I think he's been poor.
When he turns his back on the ball and he's getting...
He nearly lost the ball yesterday in front of the back four again.
It's worrying.
If you do that against Premier League opposition, we're going to concede 1 goal a game every game if Bruno does this in the Premier League. Yesterday was the first time he hasn't lost the ball in front of the defence, and he nearly did it again, to be fair. He needs to cut that out. I understand he's getting used to it again and getting into the swing of things. Fair enough. But the season starts at the weekend. Please don't lose the ball in front of the back four. It's really dangerous.
Billy, I don't know if you noticed it in commentary. I know we've spoke about it when we commentated on the earlier games in pre-season, that when he turns and you know, he tries to sort of defend the ball, sometimes he's getting dispossessed quite easily. And it's happened a couple of times in pre-season. But we know he'll come good, but he just needs to get that sharpness going.
There's a pattern to it all. It's always in the first half when he doesn't perform. Second half, I thought he was outstanding. I thought he ran the game second half. First half, I ran the game. Absolutely no doubt about it. And Bruno was the midfield of Villarreal. I thought ran the game, to be pretty honest, first half. Second half, total role reversal. I thought Bruno was brilliant second half. But you're right. He hasn't been fantastic for 90 minutes in any game this season yet, pre-season yet. I don't think he'll play in the six.
Ridiculous comment. And Alex, you said this to me yesterday when we said we were going to discuss Bruno. You mentioned Abs straight away.
Abs will attack you. Straight. What did you say?
Paul, you always said Bruno wasn't that good every game last season. I suggest you go back, Abs, and watch all the match reviews because you're talking absolute.
To be fair, you did go on a bit of a run, but it was when he did his ankle and his performances did drop off a little bit. But
they did. But however, right, I've always spoke highly of Bruno, and I think you should go back and watch the videos because you're talking donkey shite, right? And then you go on to say you are the Steve Bruce of YouTube. Bruno was fine and is integral to the team. What a pathetic thing to say, Abs. That's not even funny, actually. You just absolutely embarrassed yourself with that comment. Bruno is yes. How many times do I have to say Bruno will be fine? Bruno is integral part of the team. I know that.
I don't think
Stop
Bruno
putting ridiculous comments, Abs. People are allowed an opinion on a player and give you feedback on what they've seen on the pitch. We have done every single preseason game, whether it be commentary or live. We've seen him. He does not look 100% yet, and he's lost the ball a few times. Even Alex has just said he's had a poor preseason. So you can have a crack at Alex as well, Abs, or just continue the barrage with me.
I don't think he'll play in the 6 on Saturday. I think Tonali will play there, and I think Bruno will play in the 8.
That's exactly what we said yesterday because Tonali looks better in the 6.
To be fair,
yeah, absolutely. Alexander Allard, thank you for your $4.99. He says, lads, it's gone off the screen. 2 seconds. Where's that gone? Lads, looking sharper than last year, a quality centre-back and a bench player, and we could go deep at all levels. Barnes brings a different quality to a certain other player who played for us last season, who shall not be mentioned. Look, I think the finishing is better. I think he's proved that yesterday. I'm very excited to see how many goals Harvey Barnes gets this season. Abs says, I disagree. Bruno has been fine. Well, fine. Disagree with me, Abs, but don't put that I'm Steve Bruce of YouTube. That's a ridiculous thing to say, to be honest.
But Abs, you can't say that because literally it's not about opinions. Yesterday was the first time he hasn't lost the ball in front of the back four. As a 6, you cannot lose the ball in front of the back four. He's given away goals. You can't. I respect your opinion, but if his job is to shield the back four and he loses the ball in front of the back four, how is it positive? In whichever way we spin that, how is that a good performance? I'm not bothered about his passing mobility. That'll all come with match fitness. I don't care about that. That's fine.
And
but
that's what I've just said a million times.
Has got to be ironed out because it's dangerous.
I'd just like to say, though, the chat is agreeing with us, right? And are actually saying to Abs, Bruno's been looking slow. He's been looking a little bit off. No problem. But he
does
will
look
improve.
Terrible, but he's obviously set a very high bar for himself.
We've seen him
when he first came in again. He was ludicrously good. He was nutmegging people, and there was Cruyff turns, there was drag backs. Some of the stuff he was doing was mental. And now, obviously, he's just. I don't think we've seen this version of him yet, where he's gotten married, he's gathering pace in preseason. I think he'll be fine. Give him 3 or 4 more weeks. I think he'll look absolutely fine.
It's the first half of every game as well. He's done it in again in the American preseason game he played in. First half, he was pretty poor, lost the ball on a couple of occasions in bad positions. Yeah. Second half, he came to the game and dominated. It was the Brighton game, wasn't it? Towards the end of the Brighton game, he was phenomenal. And again, against yesterday, I thought he was brilliant second half. I really did.
I'm not sure I agree with that, Billy, but then again,
I think he was good second half. I think
he was good, yeah, definitely good. He definitely improved. Maybe. But look, I'll say it again. Bruno will be fine. Bruno will be the Bruno we know. But he's just looked a little off in pre-season. But Jesus Christ, you know what it is? You try and give feedback on what you've watched in a game, and just because it's Bruno or one of the fans' favorites, my God, you get jumped on. You know, it's just what I've seen on the pitch or what Alex and Billy have seen on the pitch. Look, Billy's got a different opinion to mine. But am I jumping on Billy and kicking him in the head? No, I'm not. It's honestly. Never mind. However, Billy, I just want to ask you, what did you think of Anthony Taylor's performance refereeing yesterday?
Well, if you watch the commentary, I think it was every other sentence I was criticising him. He was absolutely diabolical. I thought Michael Oliver was poor Saturday until I saw yesterday. But yeah, I did. Yeah, until I saw yesterday. Really? I thought it was too over unbiased, if you like.
Yeah, maybe he's a little over the top, but that was always going to be the case. But Anthony Taylor was absolutely.
Anthony Taylor was absolutely, especially the first half, second half. He didn't really. I think he must have lost his cards at half time. I think someone took them off him. But some of the yellow cards he was given were absolutely ridiculous. Aren't you thought Joe Linton was going to get sent off? He was absolutely piss poor. The worst, and I'm going to say this now, this is amongst a very stiff competition. It was the worst refereeing performance I've seen for a very, very long time at St James's Park.
Yeah,
absolutely
considering
awful.
It was just a friendly. I mean, can you imagine, Alex, that he did the game before that, Fiorentina against Nice? I mean, he would have had red cards out everywhere. There was a clash in the first half, which I didn't see. Fight broke out in the second half, which involved literally everybody, and he didn't book anybody. Nobody was booked.
It was a fight in the first half. If it was a league game or a Champions League game, would have been 2 red cards. The second fight would have been some of the coaching staff ran on the pitch to get involved in the fight. There would have been several red cards in that second brawl as well. He played that in the strictest way possible. Anthony Taylor did. I agree with Billy. I think it's one of the most unnecessarily poor performances. It was just so bizarre. Matt Ritchie made one bad tackle, instant yellow. You're in a friendly, man. What are you doing?
Joe Linton got booked for something that wasn't even a foul. I remember when we had King on, and I said every season they have an edict. It's their top priority. In this season's, it's shirt pulling. Have you noticed?
I mean,
every shirt pulling yellow card, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was violent conduct against Sean Longstaff. That guy stood up and literally pushed into his chest, throat, whatever it was. I couldn't quite see it because we weren't watching on the camera, but from where we were sat, it looked like that's 100% violent conduct. He should have walked for that.
Longstaff ran in the back of him, basically. Didn't put his feet out or anything. He just ran into the back of him. The bloke got up and pushed him over. Longstaff got booked and the bloke who pushed him over didn't. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I had people in the chat saying that they were actually turned off the game because Taylor was ruining it for him. That's how bad it was.
Well, the first half was terrible because me and Alex said a number of times that it's been ruined by the fact he's blown his whistle every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds.
Yeah, both teams want to try and get some fitness and practice. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the viewers, not good for the teams.
And that can only worry you what's about to happen in the Premier League because we know that these referees, I mean, Taylor is, we know what happened with Anthony Taylor at the end of last season with Roma in the cup in the Europa League final.
He's not a good referee.
He's not. He's terrible. And some of those decisions he gave yesterday were mind-boggling, considering it was a bloody friendly. Yeah. Alexander, thanks for another $4.99. He says, let's all calm down. The reason for any preseason is match fitness, which we excel. Alex, still waiting on my stat challenge acceptance. Tick, tick. Oh. Simon says, I thought Bruno was supposed to have his ankle sorted out in the summer, but didn't happen. So is that an issue going into the season?
I think they thought rest was going to be the cure for it, didn't they? They've gone down that route.
He just doesn't look comfortable. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but whether it is his ankle or not, I'm not so sure.
I just don't think he's disciplined enough at the moment to play in the 6 role. And if he played in the 8, he'll be fine. I really do.
Yeah, I think so. Tonali, when I've seen Tonali play in the 6 role, he comes and he gets the ball, but he doesn't sort of wait till somebody's on his back. Tonali knows what he wants to do with the ball before he's even got it. And, Bruno playing further forward gives him a little bit more freedom to show off his skills and his passing abilities and things like that, driving through the midfield, being that, Joe Linton and Bruno alongside each other with Tonali just sitting back. I think that for me is the best option. But the thing is, it's good to have, though, because if Tonali did, for instance, burst forward on a couple of runs, we know that Bruno will then hold back. It's not rocket science, or Joe Linton will hold back. So I think all 3 of them could make moves forward. All 3 of them could get goals this season. But, we'll just have to wait and see what Eddie decides. Darren, thank you very much for your $4.99, buddy. He says, all right, lad, back to my superstitious on Saturday. We meet same time, 4 o'clock, before I go and wind you up, have your burger again. Aye, same place. I'll be there, Darren. Looking forward to a big crack on before you go in the ground, buddy. Thank you very much. It was weird, yes. It was weird over the weekend because normally you see loads of people before you go into the match and stuff like that. And it was weird because some people were there, some people weren't. And but it was great to say hello to loads of people yesterday, especially. Saturday was weird because there was people in the ground, there wasn't. And then No, West Ham improve a bid for Harry Maguire. Yeah, I've seen that. Good luck to them. Considering his mistake the other day, he still looks like the same old Harry Maguire. Having Tino in and Alex Murphy looking good, would you still get a left back? You'd probably have to leave one of Dummett, Richie, Manquillo out of the 25-man squad. I'd love us to get Tagliafico. I'm a big fan.
I don't think Alex Murphy has to be in the 25-man squad. I think he can play.
No,
anyway.
he doesn't. He doesn't.
I think Manquillo is going as well. I mean, he's been excluded all weekend, so
nobody saw him across the weekend. Exactly. We said that yesterday, Alex, didn't we? He wasn't in either squad. Did you notice that, Billy? No Manquillo?
Yeah, it was notable by his absence, wasn't he? Especially playing a right forward as a right back, who instead he did fantastically well at right back yesterday. I think there were writings on the wall for Manquillo, absolutely.
Dave says there that Bruno said that he had 7 injuries last season, 4 on his ankle and 3 on his knees. So it makes sense he isn't fully fit. It's his ankle I'm worried about, because I keep looking back to that photo of his knee. Of his ankle when he actually did that injury. And I honestly thought he broke his ankle. The direction that his foot was in, it was a horrible, horrible thing to happen. And yet he came back. He was back the week after. I find that astounding. But, credit to him. I mean, he obviously wanted to play. He's a battler, and hopefully we'll see that. Bruno needs to stop training with Longstaff because it's rubbing off on him.
Because people say Manquillo was injured. He trained all week.
Exactly. He did train all week. Jack says, I managed to get a ticket for the Villa game. I'm buzzing. Nice one, buddy. Come and see us at the ground, mate. You know where we are. Maybe no announcement on Livramento yet to keep Villa guessing for Saturday. I don't think that. Nah. Listen, we haven't got a clue what Eddie's going to do. So Unai Emery ain't got a Scooby what our team's going to be. I mean, we could literally field one of what? 18?
I mean, there's a reason why Tonali and Bruno haven't really played much together. I think our starting 11 will shock a lot of people. I'm not even 100% sure Barnes will play. He could go with Wilson and Isak on the left, and then Tonali and Bruno together as well, which is going to be difficult to plan for because we've not really seen them. So from a Villa perspective, it's very hard to plan against.
I don't think that's going to happen, Alex. I honestly don't think Isak's going on the left. I think he's through the middle. I think the options now he's got wide of his 2 strikers, I think, is massive. We've got.
I agree.
We haven't talked about Murphy either. I mean, I thought Murphy was superb yesterday at right back.
I'll just mention that.
I mean, Billy, he's done nothing in pre-season.
Sensational.
Yeah, it was a brilliant finish. And his celebration with the trophy, of course, at the end was absolutely hilarious. But that is what Jacob Murphy's all about. But
he also mopped up a few defensive messes as well that Dummett and Lascelles couldn't handle.
Exactly. And I mean, Billy, he's done nothing in pre-season to for anybody to say, "Oh, Murphy shouldn't be in the squad," because he's done himself fine.
He was anonymous when he played right forward against Brighton, and as soon as he went back to right back, he looked great and set up that goal with that fantastic pass to Elliot Anderson. And yesterday he was solid in defence, which was kind of unexpected if I'm perfectly honest. And like Alex said, he went more for Lascelles than Dummett. I've got to say, I thought Dummett was excellent yesterday. Low bar, I know, but still, I thought he was very, very good for him, especially
apart from that slide tackle.
Apart from that slide tackle, yeah, but it was good to
about 7 hours late.
If he hadn't made it, he was clean through, wasn't he? So it was a good foul to give in the end.
Yeah.
I thought Murphy was outstanding.
Yeah. Tim says, I know I'm fast forwarding. However, Pep is concerned about our game already, whinging about Athens before our game. Bring them on. I mean, Jesus.
It could be a good time to be fair, actually, it could be a brilliant time to play Liverpool and City before they get into the stride. Because to be fair,
I said that when the fixtures came out, I thought it was
exactly. Man City have been known for taking a little bit of a while to get going, and often drop points in the first month of the season. Liverpool not so much, but it could be a good opportunity to take 6 points off them if they're not at the races, and we have a couple of cracking games. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Gareth, thank you very much for your £20 super chat. He says, sorry, I messed up with that message. I'm blaming my phone. Let's actually see if the referees are consistent with these new rules or whether some are for one reason and then scrapped. The timekeeping, obviously, that happened yesterday in the Charity Shield. when as from the World Cup, they added all the minutes on that the ball went out to play, etc. Now, I've seen some managers, funny enough, against it because they're worried about the fitness of the players. And then other people are saying, I think it was actually Henry Window or somebody, one of the press said about, fans, having to get away from the ground and public transport and things like that. The timekeeping is going to be way off because you could get 12, 15 minutes of additional time, especially in the second half, with all the substitutions, the goals, so the game itself isn't going to finish. You sort of think of a 3 o'clock kickoff, you think, right, maybe, 10 to 5, the game's finished. It could go on past 5 o'clock because of the additional time that's added on. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a success or not? Billy, we'll start with you on that one.
I found it ironic that Arsenal's equalised yesterday came in the 12th minute of 8 minutes of added on time, which I thought was ridiculous. I'm all for the time being added on as long as it's consistent. I don't want to see it at Old Trafford where they're 1-up and you get 2 minutes of injury time when in reality, there's 7 or 8 minutes, which I think it's going to happen. I think it will happen. There's no doubt about it. If they keep to it consistently for every team, I'm fine with it. But I have my doubts whether it's going to be kept to every team. So,
yeah, is that your worry as well, Alex?
I think this might be better for us than a lot of people are thinking. I think we've got more depth than we expected with Murphy and Lewis Miley coming through, and Livramento coming in, and Willock's not played a part in preseason yet either. I think we're actually looking really, really healthy in that regard. I think we'll use 5 substitutes regularly in our matches. I think we'll rotate heavily, and I think, as we've seen in preseason, I think both 11s are more than good enough to get points, especially against some lesser sides that we draw in the cup, or if we need to rotate. I think we've got reasonable depth now. They're all going to be up to a good standard of fitness. I think we're one of the better prepared teams for this news in the league. I think there's a lot of teams who have got good starting 11s, but beyond that, they won't have the legs. I think there'll be a lot of late goals, and I think we're one of the teams that are better at scoring late goals. We grow into the final 10, 15 minutes of games, and sometimes the final whistle comes a bit too soon, and we're like, we were literally on their throat, and the game's ended. I think we'll be one of the teams that benefits from this, to be honest. And in terms of the fans, yeah, I get it. That's a shame, but
then again,
they don't think about the fans.
But that's it. If it happens, if we're at Old Trafford 1 down, I don't want to see a board go with 2 minutes on it. I want to see the actual amount of time that we've missed played through. Yeah. I've got my doubts whether that's going to happen. I've got to be honest.
That's going to be interesting. That is going to be it when we play the
reverse Spurgy time. They're going to put 1 minute of added time on.
If they're 1 up, if they're 1 down, you're getting 12 minutes. They're 1 up, 3 or 4. That's my concern with it all.
Kendo asks a good question. Who is your player of the pre-season? Mine's Lewis Miley, followed very, very closely by Elliot Anderson. I think, Elliot has stood out a mile. We saw loads of pictures of Elliot Anderson working out and in the gym and stuff like that over the summer. And I think that's helped him a lot. He's a lot stronger on the ball. He's not getting knocked off the ball very easy at all. But for me, because of Lewis Miley's age and the fact that what we were discussing before, the maturity that he's shown and the sensible head on his shoulders, I think he has stood out a mile. And I think to stand out more than your fellow centre midfielders, i.e. Bruno, Tonali, etc., I think that's absolutely magnificent for the kid. So he's mine. Billy?
I don't think you can argue with those 2 choices. I think you've got it spot on. I don't see... Yeah, maybe Jacob Murphy too, for his defensive work in the past 1.5 games. But the 2 you mentioned, absolutely no doubt about it.
Alex?
Yeah, I think there's a few honourable mentions. Murphy, definitely an honourable mention. Gordon, but he could have done a little bit better if he had his finishing boots on. He could have had 4 or 5 goals if he'd have worn some different boots. But I think Anderson...
He leans back, Alex, every shot. Sadly, he was leaning back on.
But Anderson definitely, I feel like for the fact he's playing him, he's multi-positional. His fitness at the start of pre-season to be making late runs in the 90th minute, and the fact as a younger player, he won us games. Which, if that doesn't scream, he's now fully integrated as a first-team player. I don't know what does.
There's one promising youngster I've really been impressed with and he's only got minutes at the end, but Ben Parkinson, one for the future.
He's definitely...
He was all right yesterday.
He did okay. Yeah, so I mean, look, we're pretty much agreed on that, which I think is the first time ever on this channel that the three of us have, agreed on something like that, which is highly bizarre. But
I think
there you go.
Botman's been
That
fairly steady.
who?
Botman's been steady, but not outstanding.
I thought he had a good
Yeah.
game Saturday, but an outstanding game Saturday.
Yeah, he
probably.
did. He did well, and he was very vocal with Murphy as well. I don't know how much that came across on camera, but he was always, chatting with young Murphy, and it worked a treat because Murphy played well. Colton says Bruno is ace. Leave the guy alone. He's just had surgery.
He hasn't had
I
surgery.
don't think he has, no.
Let's say tonsils out.
Are you Bruno's mate? Do you how do you know he's had surgery? Because the club haven't released anything saying he's had surgery. I don't know where you've got that from, mate, but that is definitely.
Can I just? I might have to get the raw meat here, but I'm not. Somebody's just made a comment that I feel is very disrespectful. Ashby is loaned to a crappy team, gutted. There's nothing wrong with Swansea.
Well, it's
and there's
Colton
nothing
again.
wrong.
It's Colton who's just made that comment there.
There's
about
nothing wrong with
the Bruno
championship teams
surgery.
either. It's a double failure. Funny that. Let's see what the third comment is. We'll probably fail a third time, but that's very disrespectful to Swansea. It's not. There's no problem with going to a team in the championship. The championship is a decently strong league. It's better than a lot of first leagues, to be honest, around Europe. And he gets the chance to play 40 odd matches in a season and grow and learn. I don't know what the problem is. I find that quite disrespectful, to be fair.
Yeah. Look, I think Ashby will do wonders at Swansea. I don't see what the problem is. It's clear now, bringing in Livramento, that Ashby, Eddie's wanting to get another season on loan somewhere to bring him up another level or two. So that's fine. I trust Eddie 100% in his decision to do that. He's bringing in Livramento. So
talking about players that have left the club, did you notice that Carl Darlow was on the bench at Leeds yesterday? Behind Melia.
Behind Melia. I have a feeling that Carl Darlow will overtake him shortly, though. I really do. Melia is god awful.
It's worth mentioning as well, Beans, as we were talking about the timings. The Athletic published an article today about time wasted through goal celebrations. We actually had the least amount of time wasted through goal celebrations in the league, and I think we were third or fourth highest scorers in the league, something like that. So the narrative of time wasting, it depends which way the media want to spin it to make us look bad. But least time celebrated, and we scored a lot of goals, to be fair.
Compare that with Richarlison, who got booked for 3 false goal celebrations because they were disallowed.
He nearly got a suspension through offside goals.
That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Tookie, good evening to you. He says, hi, Paul. Glad you and Alex enjoyed the Sela Cup, and Billy's commentary was great. Cheers, Tookie, lad. Kendo says, never mind the new rules. He blew the whistle before 90 minutes.
He did?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, we noticed that a couple of times. He did in the first half as well. But by the way, if anybody's wondering, about this new rule about one coach in the technical area, it seems that, I think they've worked it out. How he's standing in the technical area, but Mad Dog is literally just standing just behind him, but just outside of the technical area.
I don't think you're allowed to do that, though. I think you've got to be sat down.
It says the technical area, so
I think they've got to be sat down, though. I think he'll get told to sit down in Premier League games. I'm sure of it.
Interesting. Kev says, a great point, that Paul. I'm really worried about the refs this year. It could be carnage in the 126th minute. God knows.
That's only if we're winning against one of the big teams.
Yeah. Oh God, Tangy, come on, man. Seems to me, in my opinion, some are nitpicking, trying to find an excuse to find something negative. Even if Bruno hasn't been at his best, so what? Just get behind the team you're supposed to support. Tangy, it's just an opinion of what we've watched, mate. You've been with this channel a long time. You know that. It's just basically what we've seen on the pitch, and that's what we talk about. It's not how he's going to do in the future or what he's done in the past. It's what we've seen in this pre-season. It's not nitpicking. It's not negativity. We've said a million times we think Bruno's going to be fantastic again this season. It's just he hasn't beat, and like Alex said, he set himself a huge bar. And if he doesn't hit that bar every game, that's when we're going to say, oh, he wasn't, at the races slightly. But look, Bruno is Bruno. We know he'll be fantastic. But
it would be a very boring show if every week we just went, "Oh, we're amazing because we wear black and white." No conversation. We're great.
I mean, Abs is just basically I can put my finger on it. You were speaking out of the wrong end, Paul. Thanks, Abs. I mean, you want to get personal, fine. I don't care.
Started on purpose.
All right, yeah. Kate Thornton says, Paul, please can me and my husband Jonathan would like to say a big thank you for having our cousin Stu Flyboy Ray on here. So much appreciated from Kate and Jonathan. You're very, very welcome. Stu was a big part of this channel. He really was a fantastic part of the channel, always joking around, cheering everybody up. Some of his jokes were terrible, by the way. I will say that, and I told Stu that many, many times. But what a guy. And he's certainly going to be a massive miss on this channel. You know, he got to know everybody in the chat and, all the viewers and subscribers and members and things like that. He made a big part of being around every show, really, and just putting, if we were a little bit down after a defeat, which wasn't very often, actually, but then, he'd come in with his jokes and he was always, I met him a couple of times, and just a great lad, always smiling, wanting to have a laugh and enjoy life. So, yeah, it's a real horrible shame about him, but he'll always be remembered on this channel, just like Dave, etc. People who've been on this channel and sadly aren't with us anymore. We will always remember them, and he'll still play, he'll still be a big part of the channel up there. Obviously Dave Harrison will be giving him all sorts of things about his jokes as well. So we will miss him very much. Luke says, Lewis Hall we should get. I think he's going to Palace, if I'm totally honest.
Spend money we must do.
Money we spend. Yeah, I don't think Chelsea are too keen for him to come to Newcastle if all the reports are true, which is a little disappointing because obviously his family are Newcastle fans, and it would be nice. It would be nice, but it looks like he's going to Palace on loan. I think who else did that? Was it
Mateusz Franca's gone there as well?
Who?
Honestly, I know we're primarily a Newcastle channel, of course, but I do think Palace might be quite exciting next year. I don't think they're going to be particularly great defensively. I think that's going to keep them stuck in mid-table. However, Eze, Elise, and Mateusz Franca, they're going to be the real fun team to watch.
Elise could be on his way out there, couldn't he? Looks like he could be going to City.
Well, if they can keep a hold of those three, they're going to be a very exciting team, I think.
Yeah,
Goldbridge thinks they're getting relegated.
Oh, Goldbridge is
a moron.
Goldbridge also thinks that Man United are going to win the Champions League.
Decore brilliant in midfield. They've got a decent front three. Their defense isn't amazing, but what you think they're not going to get 37, 38 points?
That Spanner really pissed me off with his comments about the documentary video. Just what a bell end. I mean, what's a manager supposed to motivate his players on? If the opposing managers made comments about our football team, the manager is going to use that as motivation for the players to go and play them the next time. And that's exactly what he did. And you got stuffed, rattled, shoved up the backside. So Goldbridge, take one.
Well, he just showed he couldn't handle it. And he shows that he's got an ego. He tries to pretend like he's calm, cool, collected. He'll take a step back and listen to everyone's opinions and be the grounded guy. But his ego took over. He got rattled. He didn't like that we challenged the status quo. And he thought, oh, royalty, glory, Man United shouldn't be getting, made fun of in a documentary. And he proper raged about it. He did not like it.
He had a proper meltdown. It was hilarious.
What does he want our manager to do? Our manager is meant to fire up the players to try and win the match. What did he want to say? Did he want Eddie Howe to go, oh, it's the mighty Man United. Please try your best. Like, what did he expect?
I know.
What a fool. What a silly thing to
But it's the deluded
put out
world
on
of
camera.
Manchester United, isn't it? It's not just him. It's all the fans. It's a deluded world in well, I would say Manchester, but I mean London, because that's where all the fans
He's cleverer than that. He knows better than that. It was a silly video.
I think his character supports Manchester United. I'm not sure if the real man does. I think the real man supports Nottingham Forest.
Well,
Brent.
Yes. I think basically he's started a Man United channel just because when Man United was successful and boof, it's blown up obviously with Man United's success, and that he's he's on the bandwagon of that. But I'm with you, Billy. I don't think he's a real Man United fan. Doesn't sound like a Man United. He's from Manchester, of course. He's from Nottingham. So anyway, I used to, you know what? I used to watch him quite a lot, and I used to just, you know, enjoy his passion when he, you know, he was doing watch-alongs and things like that. But then he started, you know,
he's better when he's doing neutral games.
Well, he is, but he's just
because then he's more you know, objective on it, and he doesn't get too biased, and he doesn't say silly things. If it's two neutral games, like he's watching a Champions League match, he'll normally be quite fair. But if he's got a bee in his bonnet, it'll be really strange commentary because he's just so biased with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I lost that comment. Somebody asked us if I was going on 2 seconds. Where is it? I can't find it. Somebody just put in the comments asking if I was going to the game on Saturday. Yes, I am at the game, and I will be standing next to the Jackie Milburn statue where I normally am every game with the lads. So I'll be there. So if you want to come and say hello, that's where you will find me up until around, well, what time's kickoff? 5:30. Probably up until around 5. I'll be there. Although Newcastle are trying to get people into the ground earlier by saying that if you I don't know how they worded it. It was on the big boards. If you sign yourself in or you go in the ground by 4:45, you'll be entered into a prize draw for something. So they're trying, obviously, to get the fans in earlier just to make sure that there's nobody stranded outside. So I don't think that'll happen, actually, because I think everybody pretty much had a simple entrance into the ground at the weekend. I don't think there was many. I didn't read of any major problems, but there might have been
refreshments as well, isn't that? For a certain time before kickoff.
Yeah. One thing before we go, guys. Yesterday, Arsenal won the Charity Shield, of course, with a very, very late goal, and then they won it on penalties. And they've been accused of over celebrating. You know, the over the top, and that Pep was livid about the celebrations that Arsenal did. What do you make of that? Because if that was us, right? Would you celebrate like that, winning the Community Shield?
No, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? It's the fact that they lost directly to that team in the title race. I think that's probably why. But
and it
they
puts
did
a
win
little
the FA
bit
Cup
of
a few
a,
years ago.
you know, head games again, and mind games and all that kind of stuff.
The last thing you want to do is rattle Pep, because I think when Arsenal play Man City, they're going to get their asses kicked big time. And they're supposed to be close friends in that. I thought his reaction was miles over the top, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, we know he's an emotional guy. We've seen it many times from Arteta in the past, of course, and obviously Pep is a little, well, very much more dignified, to be honest. And also, Mr. Klopp's been back at it again, you know, with the shirt signing thing and swearing at a fan and all of this. And
he just won't stop whinging, will he? It's terrible.
He's just an idiot.
He's under a lot of pressure this year, because if he doesn't qualify for Champions League this year, he's out on his ear.
He's been given the rebuild he's been moaning for. So if he doesn't do well,
he'll still say we've spent more money, etc. He's still going about money and stuff and how we're supposed to compete.
40 million for Fabinho.
Yeah.
Definitely not a fair market rate. That needs investigating. Outrageous.
Well, 40 million. Yet we only got 23 for a certain Frenchman who shall not be named. Anyway, that is the end of the show. As I say, tomorrow night, guys, we have our Premier League prediction show. So we will see what the three of us are predicting for the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and of course the Champions League. Those are the ones we are going for tomorrow. So we will see what our predictions are. We want to put you guys, obviously, you guys in the chat. You can all join in. I
don't think we can do a Champions League prediction until the groups are drawn, surely.
Yes, we can. Of course we can. Are you hearing voices again, Alex? I think you need to see a doctor about that.
I just disagree. I think that's mental.
How?
Because we don't know what the groups are.
But we know the teams in it.
But we don't know what the groups are. That plays a massive part in it because of who's in pot 1 and pot 2, especially. You've got big hitters in pot 2, and you've got some reasonably big teams in pot 3 as well.
The chat is saying we can do in the prediction, so I'm going with the chat.
We can still do a show on it. I just think it's a bit mental to do it Well, the group stage isn't announced yet.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed tonight's show, don't forget before you leave to give it the thumbs up. Very important. We keep those likes coming in and staying up in the search results on the algorithm on YouTube. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, help us push towards that 23,000 by hitting the subscribe button, which is completely free. And of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload any future videos. If you want some more of the Toon review, head across to Patreon. We've got some brilliant podcasts on there to listen to off camera. So if you want some more of us to listen to in the gym or in the car, head across to Patreon. For a small fee every month, you'll get loads of podcasts from us from different things that we don't really discuss on camera.
We've actually just done some shows on the Champions League pots.
Oh, we have. Pot 1 and Pot 2 are on there. So if you head across there, the link is in the description. Thank you to all the super chatters and new members. And thank you, of course, to the mod squad again, to Billy and Alex, and to you guys out there. Thank you very much. And we will see you again at 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the prediction show. It should be a cracker. But until then, we'll see you soon. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.